There's a question that has haunted humanity for generations. What is the quickest way to become rich? People spend their entire lives hunting for that answer. Yet the reality has been sitting in front of them the whole time. The wealthy don't want you to know it, because if you did, you would stop playing their game and start building your own. Let me make something clear. Riches do not automatically fall into the lap of the smartest person in the room, or even the one who sweats the hardest. If intelligence and effort were enough, teachers, nurses, and construction workers would be at the top of the rich list. Wealth doesn't chase intelligence or effort alone. It chases those who understand power and who know how to convert power into money. Machiavelli, the mind behind The Prince, exposed this centuries ago. He showed that money flows toward the person who can direct others, bend circumstances in their favor, and spot opportunities before the crowd wakes up. And here's the part most people can't stomach. Most people will die without ever becoming rich. Not because they are stupid or lazy, but because they're locked inside the wrong mental script. They've been taught that money comes from playing it safe, holding the same job for 40 years, clipping coupons, and saving every spare coin. Machiavelli would smirk at that. He would say, "Wealth belongs to those who make bold moves, who know when to stake everything, and who have the spine to do what the masses fear." So if you want the fastest route to real wealth, you have to tattoo this truth into your mind. Caution is slow, courage is fast. The person who is willing to do what others refuse to do is the one who climbs the ladder at lightning speed. Think about the people you've seen rise. Almost every wealthy figure looks like they appeared out of nowhere. One year they're invisible, and the next they're everywhere, running companies, flooding your feed, buying mansions. It looks like a miracle. It isn't. It's strategy. They are following principles as ancient as warfare. And today I'm going to lay those principles out for you in full Machiavellian fashion, so you can trace the path for yourself. Let's start with the trap that keeps most people broke. Most people believe wealth comes from working harder. They believe that if they stack more hours, hustle nonstop, and never sleep, they'll eventually break through. But here's the cruel reality. Hard work on its own keeps you in chains. Just look around you. The people sweating the most often earn the least. Why? Because they're selling their effort to someone else. They're exchanging hours for a paycheck, while the rich are trading ideas and influence for wealth. Machiavelli would put it this way: the man who labors for another will always be a servant. The man who gets others to labor for him will always be a master. That's the dividing line. That's why the majority stay stuck. They keep digging for money in the wrong place. They sell their strength instead of creating leverage. So what's the real power principle here? It's brutally simple. Control creates wealth. If you want to get rich quickly, you must move into a position where your decisions shift money, not your muscles. The rich don't just do work. They sit at the top of systems. They own, they direct, they influence. Let's bring in psychology. Why does this work so well? Because human beings are wired to follow leaders, not peers. When you project certainty, authority, and a willingness to take decisive action, people gather around you. They hand you their time, their energy, even their capital. And once you command that flow, you can multiply it. That's why building power and influence accelerates wealth 10 times faster than grinding harder ever could. Now, let's talk about what happens if you ignore this. If you choose the slow route, if you choose comfort and safety, you lock yourself into a game you can't win. Picture spending 4 decades working, only to retire with barely enough to survive. That's not financial freedom. That's polished slavery. And the worst part? You donated the best years of your life to someone else's kingdom. People stuck in that setup always ask, why them and not me? They watch the rich rise and call it luck. But it isn't luck. It's design. Machiavellian design. The wealthy have configured the game so that every move you make grows their empire, not yours. If you stay asleep, you will build palaces for kings while living in a cage yourself. So what's the alternative? You must think like a prince, not like a servant. Stop asking, how can I make a bit more money? And start asking, how can I build power? Because power pulls money the way a magnet pulls metal. When you control attention, when you control resources, when you control access to opportunities, Money doesn't trickle in, it rushes. Look at business empires. Look at political families. Look at the people who dominate industries. They didn't arrive there just by staying late at the office. They got there by seizing control. They walked into arenas other people were terrified to enter, and when a decisive moment appeared, they struck. Here are some practical ways to move faster. First, build leverage, not just labor. Stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an owner. Ownership is the fastest elevator to wealth. That might look like owning a business, owning attention online, or owning assets that grow without you touching them. And second, be bold in your execution. Machiavelli said, "Fortune favors the bold." When you see an opening, don't sit around waiting for everything to be perfect. Move. Most people drown in their own hesitation. The fast movers are the ones who walk away with the prize. Third, control how people see you. Wealth is often built on perception. If others view you as strong, intelligent, and unshakable, they will trust you, follow you, and put their money behind you. That reputation is a multiplier. Fourth, cut dead weight. Don't burn years proving yourself in environments that can never give you what you're aiming for. If where you are feels like a cage, leave it. Seek out arenas where power is available and the game is worth winning. When you operate like this, something shifts. Suddenly other people start chasing you. They feel your momentum. They sense your capacity to create openings and opportunities. Doors that were bolted shut begin to swing open. Investors reach out. Customers come to you. Potential partners want in. That moment where you stop chasing money and money starts chasing you. That is when your rise becomes fast. Enough, but let me be clear. This path is not gentle. When you step into the game of fast wealth, you will be tested. People will envy you. They will question you. They will try to block or undermine you. Machiavelli would tell you this resistance is proof of your growing power. If nobody is trying to stop you, you're not moving big enough or bold enough. Now let's go deeper, for those who want to play at the advanced level. There's a reality most will never hear. Sometimes the quickest route to wealth is not just building but seizing. Look back at history. Many enormous fortunes weren't created from thin air. They were made by taking control of what was already there, buying out rivals, swallowing markets, claiming neglected resources. The most explosive moves often come from capturing, not just creating. The world is overflowing with unused, ignored, and misunderstood opportunities, just waiting for someone brave enough to claim them. The average person never notices because they are too busy working, obeying, and staying safe. That's why they stay where they are. So if you truly want the fastest path to riches, remember this. You must stop acting like a servant and start thinking like a strategist. Your mind must become sharper than your hands. Your courage must speak louder than your fears. Your decisions must be bolder than the decisions of everyone around you. That's the dividing line between the rich and everyone else. Once you get this, once you stop sprinting after money and begin constructing power, you become unforgettable. People can't ignore you. Opportunities can't just drift past you. Money begins pouring into your life at a speed that looks unreal to those still stuck in the old game. They'll say you're lucky, they'll say you're ruthless, but you will know the truth. You finally started playing the game correctly, Machiavelli's way. And that, my friend, is the fastest way to get rich. Now you've seen the truth. Speed and wealth isn't a reward for sweating more. It's a reward for thinking sharper and moving bolder. But that raises a question. What can you actually do right now? How do you go from being stuck or even broke to climbing fast into real wealth? I know, let's translate this into Machiavellian language. Step 1 is recognizing the game you're in. Most people don't. They think life is about staying afloat, paying bills, and maybe stacking a little savings. That's not a game. That's prison. If you want to become rich, your first act is to admit, I've been playing the wrong game. The poor play to survive. The rich play to dominate. The rules are not the same. In survival mode, your objective is simply to last. In domination mode, your objective is to expand. The survivor will never become rich because survival breeds fear. It makes you terrified of loss. The person who plays to expand is willing to risk, to fight, to push. That is the engine of wealth. Machiavelli once described fortune like a woman. She leans toward the bold, the aggressive, the one who moves. What does that mean for you? It means you can't tiptoe into wealth. You have to strike. You have to move with force, even when your plan isn't perfect. Here's the mistake that destroys speed: waiting for ideal conditions. People say, "I'll start when I have more money, when I have more time, when the economy is better." That waiting becomes a life sentence. They wait until the opportunity is gone. The rich don't wait. They move while everyone else is thinking. And because of that, they grab opportunities long before the crowd even realizes something was available. When a new industry opens, who gets rich? The first movers. When a trend explodes, who wins? The ones who acted while everyone else was still researching. If you want the fastest path to wealth, your decision speed must outrun the average person's doubt. What's the psychology behind this? Why does boldness print money? Because money follows certainty. People are attracted to leaders who move with conviction. Even if you don't have everything figured out, if you walk with authority and courage, others will trust you, invest in you, and follow you. That trust is leverage, and leverage is how you scale money at high speed. Ignore this, and the result is harsh. You fade into the background. No one follows you. No one invests in you. No one places bets on you. You blend into the mass of cautious, hesitant people who cling to safety and stay broke. Worse, when you finally decide to act, you'll realize you're late. The opportunity you wanted has already been taken by someone who dared while you hesitated. So what's the alternative? You must retrain your mind to treat hesitation as death. When you feel yourself shrinking back, ask, what would a prince do? What choice would the man who wants to rise the fastest pick? The answer almost always points towards decisive, bold action, even when the road is hazy. Here are some tangible tactics to move faster. Build a bias toward action. Stop worshiping overthinking. If an idea excites you, test it within 24 hours. Not next week, not when things calm down. Now. Turn fear into fuel. Fear isn't a command to stop. It's a signal that you're standing at the edge of power. Train yourself to advance when fear appears, not retreat. Place yourself in hot arenas. The fastest fortunes are made in fast-moving spaces. Technology, media, finance, new industries. These are the battlegrounds where wealth shifts quickly. Stop wasting time in dead or shrinking fields. Use other people's resources. You don't need to own every tool to control the machine. Use investors, partners, and networks. Leverage other people's money, time, and skills to move further than you ever could alone. When you start acting like this, something dramatic happens. You stop begging for crumbs and start taking whole pies. People begin to see you differently. They sense movement. They feel that you're not just another dreamer, you're a mover. And movers attract wealth. Now, how do others react when you step into Machiavellian speed? At first, they laugh. They call you reckless, unrealistic, or crazy. But when your bold decisions begin to pay off, those same voices flip. Suddenly, they say you were lucky. Suddenly, they always knew you'd make it. That is the pattern. First they doubt, then they envy, then they chase. Understand this clearly. Envy is a signal you're rising. When people begin to gossip about you, criticize you, or try to drag you down, it means your movement has become visible. If no one envies you, you're invisible. And invisibility is a kind of death in the wealth game. For those who want to go even further, here's a deeper secret. Real speed doesn't just come from controlling your own actions. It comes from directing the actions of others. Look at generals. They don't fight every battle themselves. They command armies. They multiply their power through people. If you want to rise quickly, you must do the same. That means learning to recruit, persuade, and influence people so that their actions move in alignment with your vision. Employees, partners, followers online, it doesn't matter. Your ability to guide their movement is what makes you unstoppable. Once you master that, you move 10 times faster than any lone wolf ever could. Now, picture the endgame. What happens when you consistently move boldly, seize opportunities, and structure real leverage? You build an empire in a fraction of the time. You're not begging or scraping, you're setting terms. People approach you. They seek your advice, your approval, your capital. Money becomes a side effect, not the central pursuit. At that point, wealth floods in at a pace most people can't comprehend. But you need to remember this: the game was never just about money. Fast wealth is fundamentally about power. Money is merely the scoreboard of your influence. Once you hold real influence, you can reproduce money whenever you choose. That's why the rich don't panic when they lose. They know they can rebuild because they control the levers of power. So stop postponing, stop second-guessing. Take one bold move you've been delaying and do it today. Not someday, not soon, today. Wealth does not wait for the timid. It responds to the daring. Here's what you must etch into your mind. The quickest way to become rich is not to play safe, but to act like a prince, to embrace calculated risks, to move before the crowd, to use power instead of pure labor, and to move with such speed that the world is forced to notice you. If Machiavelli were whispering in your ear right now, he would say, "Fortune belongs to the bold, and the bold do not wait." Now that we've taken apart the principles of speed, we need to look at the strategies beneath them. Ideas are powerful, but strategies transform power into wealth. He understood that riches don't flow to those who merely know things, but to those who turn knowledge into control over outcomes. So let's examine the hidden machinery behind fast wealth. Every person who has risen quickly, from business giants to historical rulers, shares a pattern. They mastered leverage. Leverage is the skill of doing more with less. It's how you make one move that produces 10 impacts. It's how you multiply time, energy, and money. There are 4 primary forms of leverage that can rocket you from broke to rich faster than almost anything else: money, people, knowledge, and attention. Start with money leverage. That simply means using other people's money to build your world. The poor tremble at the idea of debt. The rich weaponize it. The poor say, "I can't start until I've saved enough." The rich ask, "Who can I partner with? Who will fund this? Who can I bring into this vision?" If you want speed, you must stop fearing the very tool the wealthy use daily. Money is like an army. If you don't command it, someone else will direct it against you. Next is people leverage. Alone, you move slowly. With others, you move at the speed of lightning. Kings, CEOs, influencers. They didn't build their empires in isolation. They built networks. They gathered waves of followers, workers, customers, and fans who bought, built, and spread their message. If you can inspire or direct others, you can scale yourself infinitely. Then comes knowledge leverage. This isn't just about being informed, it's about knowing what others don't and acting on it before they catch up. Think of investors who recognized tech revolutions early. Think of leaders who formed alliances their enemies didn't see coming. If you want to move fast, you must live ahead of the curve. Learn constantly, but more importantly, act on what you learn faster than everyone else. Finally, there is attention leverage. This is the secret weapon of the modern age. Attention is a currency. If you can command attention through media, charisma, or influence, you can convert it into wealth at a frightening speed. That's why influencers rise so fast. Attention becomes sales, partnerships, power, and reach. Attention is the fuel of rapid growth. Now here's the mistake most people make with leverage. They try to do everything alone. They say, "I'll save the money myself. I'll learn everything myself. I'll grow slowly." That is poverty thinking. Machiavelli would call it weakness. The man who insists on traveling alone crawls like a snail. The man who multiplies his force through others moves like a storm. Psychologically, it works like this. People are drawn to strength. When they see someone moving with clarity and conviction, they want to be near that energy. Leaders who rise fast build movements. They give people a cause, a mission, or a vision to attach themselves to. In return, those people give their time, their money, and their loyalty. If you want speed, you must learn to make people feel that being linked to you is an advantage for them. What happens if you don't? You burn out. You spend years grinding, while someone who understands leverage passes you in months. You watch people younger, less experienced, and less skilled fly past you because they learned one rule you didn't. Leverage beats labor every time. So what's the alternative? Instead of asking, how can I do this? Start asking, who or what can help me do this faster? That single shift flips your entire approach. You stop behaving like a worker and step into the role of a commander. You stop inching forward and start multiplying your steps. Here's how to use this in practice. Use other people's money wisely. Don't instantly reject loans, investments, or partnerships. When the move is bold and calculated, capital can accelerate you far more than savings ever will. Build alliances. You don't have to crush everyone around you. Often, the quickest rise comes from joining forces with the right people. And if you need to, outgrowing them later. Invest in knowledge that gives you an edge. Don't just scroll for entertainment. Seek information that sharpens your advantage. Knowledge is a weapon. Carry it loaded. Capture attention relentlessly. Post, speak, create, network. Be present. If nobody knows your name, nobody can pay you. If everyone knows your name, opportunities will chase you. When you live like this, people's perception of you changes rapidly. You're no longer trying. You're clearly moving, building, multiplying. And because perception shapes reality, the world starts treating you like someone who is rising. That treatment itself creates more chances. That's how momentum snowballs. But there's another side most people never consider. When you rise fast, you create enemies just as fast. That's the advanced layer. Machiavelli warned that power naturally pulls resistance toward it. The higher you climb, the more people will attempt to drag you down. Jealous rivals, bitter former allies, competitors threatened by your presence. Many fast risers crumble here. They weren't prepared for attacks, so they break under pressure. If you want to maintain speed, you must expect this. You must be ready not only for success, but also for envy, betrayal, and sabotage. The strong don't see these things as problems. They see them as confirmation. If you're not making enemies, you're not moving aggressively enough. Now think about the final state. Picture yourself with leverage in money, people, knowledge, and attention. Picture yourself moving boldly, striking quickly, and weathering resistance. Where does that leave you? You're not just wealthy, you're protected. You've built a fortress. People depend on you. People need you. And when others need you more than you need them, you've already won. That's the level Machiavelli admired. Not just the person with money, but the person with power. Power to keep it, grow it, and shape the world with it. That is the real endgame. Not just riches, but rule. So stop crawling. Stop trying to carry everything alone. Identify where you can apply leverage right now. Maybe it's a partner you need to call. Maybe it's an investor you need to approach. Maybe it's a platform where you need to start building attention. Whatever it is, move on it. Because the difference between moving slowly and moving rapidly always comes back to two forces: boldness and leverage. Remember this: wealth does not flow toward the cautious. It flows toward commanders. If you want to become rich quickly, you must step into command. Not eventually, but now. From a Machiavellian perspective, the fastest way to get rich has never been just work harder. It has always been understanding and using leverage. Leverage is the art of making small actions produce oversized results. One push on the right lever can shift a massive stone that your bare hands could never budge. Wealth operates the same way. Most people strain with their bare hands and wonder why nothing moves. The wise find the lever. He knew that rulers and leaders always searched for leverage tools. They didn't want to win one fight at a time. They wanted alliances, capital, fear, and respect to do the heavy lifting. In today's world, your levers are technology, systems, and networks. Someone who uses a laptop and an internet connection to build a business that touches millions has more leverage than someone clocking in for hourly pay. But here's the catch. Leverage only works if you're positioned correctly. Imagine trying to push the wrong end of the lever. Nothing happens. That's why Machiavelli would tell you, secure the right position first, then apply pressure. If you want to get rich quickly, you must plant yourself in environments where leverage exists. That's why so many wealthy people cluster in software, finance, media, and scalable industries. One decision, one product, one piece of content can touch thousands or millions without extra effort. Now let's revisit speed. Now, people think getting rich fast means some magical overnight success. Machiavelli would laugh. He knew that speed is what happens when preparation collides with opportunity. If you train in the shadows and then move with boldness when a door opens, you appear to rise overnight. But your preparation is what made that acceleration possible. Another principle, managing risk while looking bold. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors the bold, but he wasn't praising recklessness. He was talking about those who make moves that look dangerous from the outside, but are actually calculated from the inside. Think of an investor who buys into a company everyone else dismisses. To the crowd, it looks like gambling. To him, it's informed conviction. That's how fortunes are built quickly. You make moves others are too blind or too afraid to make. Let's be honest, there are only a few paths to fast wealth that actually last. No building or owning something that scales massively. It's controlling or managing resources that others desperately need. Positioning yourself where opportunities flow and striking faster than anyone else. Machiavelli knew the people who got rich quickly weren't necessarily the hardest workers. They were the best placed. They stood at the crossroads where wealth passed through, and they took their share. Think of merchants at ancient trade routes, bankers in times of war, or modern tech founders sitting at the intersection of communication, data, and commerce. Here's the Machiavellian twist. Sometimes the fastest path isn't building from nothing, but plugging into what already works. Machiavelli advised rulers to borrow strength through alliances, then outmaneuver those allies when the time was right. Translated into money, that means partnerships, investors, and even copying proven business models until you're strong enough to innovate. Wealth also moves quickly toward those who control attention. Machiavelli believed appearances often outweighed reality. Someone who appeared powerful was treated as powerful, long before their foundation was fully solid. Apply that to money. If you control how people perceive you, you pull opportunities toward you faster. Influence, reputation, branding, these are magnets. A powerful brand can make you rich faster than a superior product sitting in the dark. Now here's the harsh truth. Most people will never experience fast wealth. Why? They don't think this way. They crave comfort. They chase approval. They cling to safety. Machiavelli would tell you those desires are shackles. If you want wealth quickly, your thinking must split from the crowd. You must tolerate discomfort, take risks others won't, and act decisively when openings appear. But don't confuse speed with stupidity. Getting rich fast doesn't mean throwing everything at a lottery ticket. It means designing conditions where money flows to you faster than it flows to most people. The early investor in a rising market isn't lucky. They are alert and brave. The entrepreneur who launches at precisely the right moment isn't magical. They are prepared and attentive. Machiavelli would remind you, fortune is like a woman. She responds to boldness. If you want wealth, you must move with confidence, strike at the right moment, and refuse to hesitate. Hesitation kills speed. So what does all of this mean for you personally? It means that if you want to get rich fast, you must secure three things. Position. Place yourself in industries and niches where leverage is built in. Perception. Shape how people see you because influence attracts money. Precision. Act boldly and quickly when opportunities appear. Fast wealth is not random. It is engineered. Machiavelli's message is clear. Those who design the right conditions and then move with courage are the ones who appear to rise overnight. Because the fastest way to get rich is not about luck. It's about strategy, leverage, and timing. Master those three. And to everyone watching you, it will look like you move faster than the rest of the world. But you'll know the truth. You were simply the only one prepared to act.